What's up YouTube, it's GadgetsJon and I'm here to talk about the Sony Xz2 and XZ2 Compact. And we've been using the phone since launch, so I think it's time we should share our thoughts on the two of them. If this is your first time watching us, we're GadgetsBoy, and if you need to get in touch with us, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell so you're one of the first to get notifications when we launch a new video. So first up, let's take a look at the design. Both phones are relatively slim, although the XZ2 Compact is a little bit thicker and has a plastic back, which some people may not find very premium, whereas the XZ2 has a glass back, which means it has wireless charging, so that's a key difference between the two. Also, this is a 5-inch screen, and this is 5.7 inch. But if you take a look at the screens on them, the 5-inch screen of the XZ2 Compact is actually quite impressive. They're both in an 18:9 aspect ratio, so it's great for watching videos, great for watching content. But yeah, I think in terms of the design, I like the fact they're both IP68, means I can use the phone outdoors when I'm, by the pool with confidence. I don't have to worry about my phone getting wet. They both have expandable storage up to 256 gigabytes via micro SD card. On board, they both come 64 gigabyte storage. Both have 4 gig RAM, so again, there's not much difference between them. They both have stereo front-facing speakers, which is cool. And yeah, I think ultimately, they look much nicer than last year's versions. I think Sony have taken on feedback, moved away from the, typically the XZ quite blocky. Actually, hold on a second, I've got the XZ1, so let me show you that. So like I said, I've actually got the XZ1 right here. And as you can see, it's a little bit more boxy in comparison. And I think that's one of the things that Sony were getting criticized for, these kind of square edges, because they're not really in keeping with what a lot of the other phones are doing. And I think to match the trend, rather than just having the curved sides, as you can see, they've curved the corners here. They've got the 2.5D glass, so it's got a really nice kind of smooth edge on the screen. But on the back, that curved edge, while it feels quite nice when you're holding it, it almost looks like when your phone the battery is expanding and it's about to explode. So I don't know, some people may not like that, but one of the things I do really like about the layout of both of them is, well, especially the XZ2, is the kind of symmetry that you have in the camera and the fingerprint sensor and the flash. I think that looks quite neat. And it does come in some nice colors as well. I think is it like a bluish kind of purpley color is my favorite one. I think it comes in like 4 or 5 colors. So you've got options there. But yeah, in terms of design, I think they're both quite nice. It's good to see Sony modernizing, but the plastic back I don't like of the XZ2 Compact. As for performance, the Sonys are doing pretty much what you'd expect from a flagship at the moment. So you've got Snapdragon 845 in there. It's got 4 gigabytes of RAM, which is a little bit lower than what other guys are playing with. A lot of them are coming with 6 gigabyte and 8 gigabyte RAM. So in that sense, Sony is a little bit behind. But as for when you're using it, even though it's only 4 gig RAM, I do find it quite quick. I didn't find any lags or any slow performance from it. Everything starts up pretty quickly. As you'd expect, it does come with Sony built-in apps and music and video and Xperia Lounge, all that kind of stuff that I personally don't use at all. It also comes with AVG protection built in, so if you're worried about you're downloading apps that you maybe aren't from the official Google Play Store, AVG, and even browsing, AVG will help keep your phone a lot more safe and secure. So yeah, there's some good stuff on here, but again, 4 gigabyte RAM means this is gonna look really, really old in about 6 months when everyone else is on 6 and 8 gigabyte RAM. But yeah, like I said, it's got 4 gigabytes, 64 gig storage, expandable up to 256 gigabytes via micro SD, which is really good. A lot of them don't have micro SD slots, which is a good point. Something I didn't mention in design as well, it only has a USB-C port. It does not have a headphone jack, despite the fact that Sony make a big deal about this being a great device for people who want to listen to good music and watch their videos. Despite not having a headphone jack, it is great for watching multimedia content because it has a Full HD Plus HDR screen. And also one of the really cool things is the Sony XZ2 and XZ2 Compact can both upscale standard definition content to HDR content. So you get a lot more dynamic range, a lot more contrast, much more detail from standard content. Even if you're watching YouTube videos, you can upscale that content and it will look better on the XZ2 and XZ2 Compact. So that is really cool. Another interesting feature that Sony has introduced is its dynamic vibration system, which will analyze the video content that you're looking at or the gaming content that you're playing, and it will add vibration feedback, haptic feedback, so that it will complement the content that you're seeing on screen. And it's kind of like how, if you've played with a PlayStation before, how DualShock controllers work. So you have that feedback when you're getting, an explosion's happening around you. The explosions will happen into similar places into where the screen is. It's hard to explain without actually trying it out, but I found it interesting, but while it's cool to have, it was something that I turned off after I started testing it, because it's not, I guess it's not something I'm used to, and it didn't add that much. But I think Sony think that for some people it will make content more immersive. But for me, it didn't make that much of a difference. It was just a cool thing to show people when I was talking about the phone. If you're a fan of gaming content, then I would say the XZ2 Compact is a little bit small and fiddly, and you don't have much screen real estate for playing anything serious other than a one-handed game. So if gaming is your thing, I would say go for the XZ2, the full-size version, because again, you've got a larger 5.7-inch screen, and for me, it just feels better, it looks better. I'm not squinting at the screen. The performance is decent, it's not laggy at all. But yeah, for gamers, I definitely would rule out the XZ2 Compact. Now, before we get onto cameras, one of the things I forgot to mention about the dynamic vibration system is it also works when you're playing music. So it's almost, I'm not really sure what the thinking behind that is, but it's like your phone is like someone's calling you. And I don't really get it, it's odd, so I didn't use it at all for music. But it does really work well for gaming, and if you're a gamer, then I think that you should definitely have a look at the XZ2 rather than the XZ2 Compact, because the Compact is quite a small screen, and it's not ideal for anything that's two-handed. I think the XZ2 is much more suited to that. And although they both do have louder speakers, so it's apparently 20% louder than the previous version, and when you're playing content, the louder speakers do definitely help make it a bit more immersive as an experience. Now for my favorite bit, the camera. And obviously Sony, as a camera company, are very much known for having the best sensors around. One of my favorite cameras in the world right now is the Sony A7R III. So I was expecting big things from this. Both of them do have identical camera modules. So they both have a 19 megapixel rear facing camera and a 5 megapixel front facing camera. But that's only if you're shooting in a 4:3 aspect ratio. If you're shooting in 16:9, then you only get 17 megapixels, but that's still more than what most of the manufacturers are offering. In terms of stills performance, I thought the Sony did do very well. The clarity is good, the sharpness is good, detail quality is nice. I think the color is really nice on it. The only thing that bugs me about the camera on this, and it's something for me that's plagued a lot of Sony cameras, is while the autofocus is fast, there's a lag when you tap the camera, and you're not quite sure if you've taken the picture or not. A lot of the time, you press it and then it shoots. It's disconcerting sometimes, and I think that it's definitely something they could improve there. It's a heritage problem I've noticed with Sony phones, so that was a bit annoying. But one of the things that Sony really leads the way on is their video. It's the first phone in the world to market that can shoot in 4K HDR, which is really, really nice. The quality is outstanding. It's like nothing I've seen from any phone. If you take that off the phone and put it on a TV screen or your monitor, it blows most of the other phones completely out of the water. And then again, another area where they're really excelling is last year's model, the XZ1, could shoot 960 frames per second HD video. And that's what the S9 can do now, that's what the P20 Pro does now. But this year's model, the XZ2 and XZ2 Compact, can shoot 960 frames per second in full HD. And none of the other manufacturers are doing that right now. And it's crazy impressive. When you compare Slo-Mo side by side with anything from the XZ2 or XZ2 Compact versus the S9 versus the P20 Pro, it's night and day in terms of quality. And while we're talking about slow motion, I've actually created a new page on Instagram, which I'm trying to populate with samples of smartphone slow-mo. So I've actually called the page Smartphone Slow-Mo. So check it out, and I'll put up some samples from the XZ2. I've got some on there already from the Galaxy S9, which I really like the way they've implemented slow-mo. There's a different implementation on the XZ2, so it means you have a little box and you set that up, and then any action that happens within there, you have to press a button to try and capture it within that motion. It's not as easy to capture moments, and I think there is a better implementation in the S9, but the quality on the XZ2 is second to none as far as smartphone slow-mo goes. So yeah, check out my page on Instagram. If you're into taking low-light pictures such as club and party pictures, or even low-light night scenes and cityscapes, I think the Sony XZ2 isn't the best for that. It doesn't compare to what you get from the Galaxy S9 or the P20 Pro or even the Pixel 2. I think all of those cameras will blow the XZ2 out the water in low light. And I think the front-facing camera isn't the best because it's only 5 megapixels, and the rendering is just very noisy and mushy when you're shooting in low light. So yeah, I don't rate this camera particularly well or particularly highly for low light stuff. But in good light, I was quite impressed with the stills, and the video, like I said, is amazing. on this, and probably better suited to people who are into their video than into stills photography. One of the areas where Sony has been trying to lead the way is in 3D modeling and 3D capturing. While they haven't got the same kind of 3D mapping, advanced 3D mapping that the iPhone X has, Sony now send the image that you capture, they can do a high resolution version and they send it to their servers and they'll render what is effectively a 4K 3D image. So the quality of that is quite outstanding, but it's a bit complicated to do because you literally have to walk around the whole person's head, map it all out and then paint it in. It's a bit of a complicated process, but they do have some good tutorials on the phone to help you do that. But yeah, Sony is doing a lot of interesting things in terms of 3D capturing and mapping and modeling. You can do everything from modeling food and objects to, like I said, faces and our whole head. So yeah, Sony is doing a really good job on the 3D front. And one of the cool things is those 3D models that you capture can now also be shared on social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter and even WhatsApp. So that's quite cool too. When it comes to battery capacity, the XZ2 offers you a 3180 mAh battery, while the XZ2 Compact offers you a 2870 mAh battery. So you've got a slight difference in capacity there, but then again, the XZ2 is powering a larger screen, so I think it probably balances out quite well. But yeah, if you want more battery, obviously you'd go for the XZ2. So let's wrap this up. My opinion on the XZ2 and XZ2 Compact is that Sony has done a much better job than they did last year. They've kept up with some of the new trends. They've got, like I said, 2.5D Corning Gorilla Glass on the front of both devices, but the XZ2 Compact for me feels a little cheap just because they've gone for a plastic back, and I don't know, this feels like a Moto E, which is a bit of a harsh criticism, I know, but honestly, last year I preferred the XZ1 Compact over the XZ1. This year, I've got to say, the XZ2 full size is definitely the better phone. I'd recommend this over the XZ2 Compact, and if anyone was looking for a Sony device or wanted good video features or wanted a phone with expandable storage, with IP68 water rating, I think this is definitely the device I'd recommend. And again, the best feature on this is the Full HD 960 frames per second slow-mo. That is really, really great. So if you're someone who's into creating interesting video content and you want, video capture on a smartphone that is second to none, the XZ2 Compact is definitely the phone for you. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comment section below. But in the meantime, subscribe to our channel for more great videos.